Hey guys, Michael from Copper vs Glass, and it is iPhone 16 day. What I have here is the iPhone 16 Pro in the white titanium colorway and 128GB model. And we are doing a quick unboxing and some of my first impressions of this brand new device. So of course what you're going to have first is the USB-C to C cable. Now I've also got a SIM ejector tool because here in the UK we haven't yet switched over to eSIM, so I have taken my SIM card out of the 15 Pro and then put it into the 16 Pro. We then have the paperwork in this new sort of pill shape here that I can see. And for some reason you don't get any Apple stickers this year. This is probably one of the first devices not to include any Apple stickers, but then again, mine from my 15 Pro I think are still in the box. And while I was just going through this paperwork, does anyone remember the Apple fingertips that used to come with Apple devices? I kind of miss those days. And then of course we have the device itself, and like I mentioned, I went for the white titanium just to mix it up a bit. Last time I had the natural titanium, the black titanium's a little bit too dark and shows a ton of fingerprints, and the new color option is basically brown. So taking off the screen, as you can see, we've then got that brand new display, which is a little bit bigger, and the borders around the edge are slightly thinner than what we had on the previous year's model. But of course that's not all. We have a brand new ultra wide lens with a 48 megapixel sensor, and then we have the brand new camera control button. Now I'm really interested to see exactly what this can and cannot do, so of course let me know in the comments section below what you guys want to see in the full review or a dedicated camera video. Of course then around the other side you've still got the action button and the volume up and down, and this hasn't changed at all from last year's model, and of course the SIM card slot. Then down the bottom we've got the speaker array and the USB-C side of things as well. For me, like I've mentioned in previous videos, I pretty much do 99% of my charging via MagSafe. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and set up my 16 Pro. Now the great thing of course with Apple using iCloud, I can transfer everything over from my 15 Pro to the 16 super quick and simple, pretty much just like that. So everything is all set up, and straight away I can actually tell already the thinner bezels on the display. Now of course then we have the camera capture button, and again we'll get into that a little bit more in a future video, but it feels pretty good on first impressions. Now of course the difference between the 15 Pro and the 16 Pro isn't necessarily the biggest difference compared to previous years and previous models. Yes, you do have these slightly thinner bezels, and of course the actual size of the device is slightly bigger, going from 6.1 inches to 6.3 inches, although if you haven't had the 15 Pro beforehand, you may not even be able to tell. And I think that's why some people aren't necessarily happy with the 16 line of devices this year, because it is very similar to what we had last year on the 15 Pro 12 months ago. On the right hand side you've got the power button, on the left hand side of course you've got the action button, volume up and down, and while I'm going around these devices, if you didn't already know, it may be a little bit hard to tell exactly which device is the newer one compared to one that came up 1 year ago. However, for me, I don't necessarily see that as a downside. Last year's 15 Pro was one of the best looking devices, and the 16 Pro following over, I think it still looks great. Now of course there's some internal things, obviously the performance side of things, the camera, and some additional features that we have on this year's model, which of course I'll go into in the full review, but in terms of the actual physical attributes of the device, the main thing looking at them is just going to be the size difference. Like I mentioned, the 16 Pro comes in at 6.3 inches compared to the 6.1 of the 15 Pro, and it's pretty much only on the vertical side of things. It is ever so slightly wider, and of course you do have the thinner bezels, but you can actually see that there is a height difference between the two. So unfortunately none of your previous accessories are going to be able to carry over from last year to this year, but I think in general it's a really nice screen size. It's kind of more compact compared to some of the other options, and in general I just think it feels and looks great. There's also not really too much in it when it comes to the weight side of things as well, although you do have a slightly bigger phone this year. In terms of the overall weight side of things, both being titanium, they're both pretty light in my opinion, although they do also have that premium heft to them, knowing that you've actually paid for a pretty decent device overall. I also went ahead and picked up the Apple official silicone case for the 16 Pro, and I've got this really nice aquamarine blue color. So again, I'm going to be doing a full review of a ton of different cases that I'll link in the description down below moving forward. So if you guys want a brand new case for your 16 Pro, this is the channel to follow, so make sure you're subscribed. Now the 15 Pro itself did actually handle itself extremely well over the last 12 months, and in all honesty, if I wasn't doing YouTube, I wouldn't really see the need to upgrade from what was happening last year compared to this year. The screen is still great, the performance is still great, the camera is amazing, so if you've got a 15 Pro or maybe even a 14 Pro and you don't need to do the upgrade side of things, then I think your device is still going to last a ton longer. Of course you've got iOS 18 moving forward, so in regards to the actual overall performance and how the device looks once it's unlocked, you can kind of see it looks exactly the same as what I've had from my previous model. However, what I did want to try is the camera control button, because this is the first year in a very long time that Apple have actually added a button to the device. And I know what they they've been saying in all of their marketing and also in the keynote, but it is a button. Yes, you've got different options and different pressure levels, but it's a button that you can use to basically control everything that you can do with the camera side of things. And it is going to take some getting used to. Yes, it does feel really nice, but in terms of the double press and the kind of swiping up and down and just general getting to know the pressure sensitivity, I think it's going to take some time. But again, I'm going to do a ton more stuff on the camera side of things moving forward, and of course in the full review. And that's where you guys come into this. Obviously with the iPhone 16 Pro, I know exactly what I want to be using it for, but everybody's use case is completely different. Some people might just use it purely for a new gaming device to get the best AAA games. Some people may really dig deep into the camera side of things, and some other people may just use it as a media device. So let me know in the comment section down below exactly what you want to know about the iPhone 16 Pro. And when it comes to the review side of things, I'm going to really focus on some of the things that you guys mentioned in the comment section below, because at the end of the day, if you guys are looking at upgrading your device or getting a new phone moving forward, you kind of want to know exactly what it does, not just necessarily my overall opinion on how I use the device. So let me know in the comment section down below exactly what you guys want to see moving forward, and I will do my best to cover as much of it as I can. But for now, that's going to do it on my first impressions and the unboxing of the iPhone 16 Pro in titanium white 128GB version. And also, some of you guys in the comments on my previous video on the iPhone 15 Pro 1 year later did also mention with regards to the overall storage side of things. And like I mentioned previously, pretty much everything that I have, photos, documents, or anything really important, stays in the cloud. So that's why I always go for the smaller version of the iPhone. Would it be nice to get 256 as a base level? Well, yeah, of course it would. But for me, 128GB does perfectly fine. And in the last 2 or 3 years that I've been having the iPhone, I haven't filled it up once, so I don't really feel the need to upgrade. And like I mentioned guys, if you want to protect your iPhone 16 live devices, then of course hit that subscribe button down below. I've already got a lineup of a ton of different cases and accessories for the 16 Pro, so if you guys do want to be first to see that, then of course hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the notifications. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up down below. Like I mentioned, we've got a ton of content moving forward on the 16 Pro and a ton of other products. So again, I'm Michael from Copper vs Glass. Thanks very much for watching, and of course I will catch you guys in the next video.